What's going on, gamers? So Field of Mistria's got its very first patch with its own patch notes for version 0.11.4 or just, version 0.11.4. So if you are interested in reporting bugs and stuff, there is a link on X, because, this game doesn't have a Discord and stuff at the moment to be able to give feedback or bugs or anything like that, or if there's something in the game you want to see, that's how you contact them. But for today, these patch notes will feature a little flower emoji whenever it's something that the community had given feedback for the change specifically. So the additional gift lines have been added for all NPCs. The worn watering can, hoe, and the sword are now sold at the general store, and that was something that was suggested by the community to be added in. I can see how this would be really nice. So say it's the day before the Saturday market or something, and you don't have enough currency in game because you just went and, who knows, maybe you upgraded something or purchased your house, your chicken house, or something, right? New chicken. But you realize, it's Friday, tomorrow's the market day. All of the merchants are going to come in and they're going to have those limited time items at some of them and stuff. And so you want gold, and you have copper or something, and you end up wanting to sell one of those and backtrack with just a worn one for now until you can build up more gold just to get by for that one market. Everybody needs to splurge. I could see this being a reason why. So this is pretty cool. Otherwise, I don't know why you would want it, to be honest. That's really like the only instance I can really think of is just you want to sell your copper or iron ones for gold for an instance. But pretty cool. And several issues causing the game to crash have been fixed. So those are the highlights for those top 3, and the issues are actually further down in, and it's mixed in with all of the features and stuff. So if you're looking for something specific, just there's going to be a link to the patch notes in the description if you want to check it out yourself if you are not a X user. Okay. Brand new features. There's going to be new dialogue added for Valor at the Saturday market. So that is pretty great, just new dialogue rather than say the same thing over and over again once you've talked to them X amount of times. This was suggested by the community to have additional colors for the basic cape. That's cool, I guess. Yeah, it does. I've never really looked at the basic cape, so I don't know how bare it was before. But I mean, most of their other clothing options and stuff is pretty, color option-y, lots of color options. So I mean, if it didn't have as much as everything else, I could see why people would want that. Gameplay. So the heights of various wall furniture items have been adjusted, primarily the rustic cabin wall shelf and the lovely cottage wallflowers. It's kind of funny. What were they the same height or higher than your character? I'm not sure. I never had these yet, so. Female and male animals expecting offspring can no longer be sold, moved to a different farm building, or moved into the daycare. Animals in daycare or moved between buildings with active expectant status have reverted status but remain in their current daycare/building slots. Okay, so that is actually something huge they added in that I'm surprised it wasn't suggested by people, just because if you accidentally, sell one of your animals, if you just come up with, instead of, unique names for each of them, just let them be cow 1, cow 2, cow 3, cow 4 and stuff, and accidentally sell one that had been expecting, that's money you're losing out on there by selling both the mama and the baby. So I'm not quite sure what they mean by this, other than can animals in daycare are moved between buildings with active expectant status have reverted status but remain in their current daycare. So is it when you attempt to move your animal that they miscarriage? Do they just miscarriage basically and lose the expectant status? So yeah, so those with active expectant status have reverted status but remain in their current slots. So if you attempt to move your animal, does it make them miscarry and you just lose the baby? That's kind of quality of life. When attempting to load an invalid save, the game now displays an invalid save pop-up rather than crash on startup. So this is one of the crashes that they was talking about at the start, being a highlight. So if you've been having problems with loading an invalid save from the game or anything, instead of just constantly crashing the game, for now at least, it just will show you know, an invalid save pop up rather than crash you. Various small typo and spelling corrections and line edits have been made. Spoiler alert, so gonna have a little bit of spoils. I'm gonna take a pause, skip ahead on the video if you don't want to be spoiled. Literally, like now, you know, move it. Okay, well, if you didn't move it, so Potato is now a liked gift for Holt instead of accidentally both liked and loved. Oh, that's kind of funny that it was like that like at first, but it's now like normal, so it's just a liked gift. It's not liked and loved. Holt cannot be gifted potatoes and getting basically time and a half affection. Now it's just normal. And crystal berries are now a loved gift for Darcy instead of accidentally both liked and loved. The freed liked slot is now a new gift. So, and the new gift is not mentioned here, so you know, all of you out there who are completionists and like to know everything, now's the time. There's a new slot to try and find out what is liked. Bug fixes for gameplay. Black rabbits are now tier 2 instead of tier 3. The player no longer wakes up stuck in a void after fainting in the mines or passing out at 2 a.m. if they do not have a bed in their house. Wow, that's a specific bug. Perks no longer trigger before they have been unlocked. Actually, going back, I bet it's like, what, do you wake up at the doctor's house probably for if you don't have a bed in your house? Why would you not have a bed in your house? What are you doing? Perks no longer trigger before they have been unlocked. Weather particles no longer reappear during cutscenes if weather particle strength in accessibility settings is set to none. Okay, that's huge for those of you who don't care about like wanting to see the weather all the time. Infused weapons damage numbers now always round to the nearest integer. Okay. Swinging your sword in a room transition no longer causes the player to slide in an idle animation. Holding a consumable item while interacting with the inn soup no longer consumes the item. This is huge, especially for those of you who may not know. So every day, you can actually go to the inn and there is free soup served at the campfire. You can go there and it depends on, I don't know if it's like day dependent or what, or if it's like RNG, but you can get free soup every day, and so the amount of either HP or stamina or stuff like that you get restored is dependent on the type of soup that they felt like cooking up that day. So use this, make use of that, really get your energy up there and stuff, you know, really like crank out at the farm first to clean it up, plant, water your crops and stuff, and then if you want to head into the mines or go digging around or catching bugs and stuff, stop by the inn while you're out if your bar is not completely full, and go ahead and get you some free soup. It does, I think, automatically consume the moment that you take it. So just a heads up, it's not something you can like take with you to carry into the mines. It's just to interact and you consume in the moment. I mean, they're gonna want their dishes, right? Okay. The player now resolves their animation when a dialogue text box appears. Closing the inventory and quickly hitting L or R on the controller no longer freezes the game. Scrolling in the toolbar from one cosmetic item to another now changes the player's held item. Fixed a bug where movement speed was increased by holding hasty armor. Oh, so just even holding it was increasing your move speed? That's funny. Fixed a bug where hasty armor could stack in unexpected ways. Oh, and they're sorry. I guess this was where people just like running through like walls or something and stuff, or I don't know. Okay, so spoiler alert again. Skip ahead a few seconds right now. Look for the timestamp. Look for the timestamp to skip past spoiler and on to the next one. If you've stayed, then you know you just wanted to be spoiled. So the beach bridge will now repair properly even if you skip the repair cutscene. If you previously skipped the cutscene, your bridge should now be repaired. And they did say should. So if you skipped the cutscene for repairing that beach bridge and you go into the game and it's still not repaired, I would recommend going to this page and clicking on the here that's at both the top and the bottom to still go ahead and submit a report that it is still like that for your game. Because it should be fixed. Underline should. Dozy and Henrietta no longer say dialogue intended for human NPCs. maybe this is really later in the game. I hadn't experienced this personally. It just always shows like Dovey is like wagging his tail really excitedly type things, and Henrietta was always just super, you know, this party is for me, kind of like smug attitude displaying stuff, but it was always done with kind of that asterisk font of showing like, I mean, they're not actually saying it, you know, it's just kind of the impression they give off. So maybe that's way later down in the game, I don't know. Disliked gifts given on an NPC's birthday no longer trigger a placeholder birthday line. Oh, so like if they really hated it, even on their birthdays, they'll still accept it. So poor birthday takers. I wonder how much their affection still goes down though. Request for Emerald and Request for Rabbit will now list the appropriate NPC needed in the quest objective. Crash fixes here. So walking in front of Dozy when he faces west at the Spring Festival no longer crashes the game, and Dozy says he's sorry about that. So if Dozy the dog, he's not a bad dog, he's a good dog. If Dozy the dog has been causing you to crash at this very specific moment in the game, he apologizes, it's fixed, it shouldn't happen again. Okay. NPC's database position differing from their actual position no longer crashes the game. Invalid localization key for input reset controls no longer crashes the game. So if you're using console commands, don't know why you would want to, but if you're using them and trying to input reset controls for invalid localization key and stuff, it will no longer crash your game. Exiting the inventory page after swapping a held item with the cursor no longer crashes the game. Specific again. Using the pickaxe at 2 AM no longer crashes the game. Fishing will no longer occasionally cause the game to crash. Have people out there been crashing while fishing? I mean, please let me know. That's something I haven't fished a whole lot, but that's just because I'm really trying to get through the mine as quick as I can. And yeah, I'm not really focusing. I feel like fishing is something I'll focus on more in year 2 rather than year 1. I'm still working through year 1, so anyways, trying to put a small animal into a shipping bin no longer crashes the game. But just so everybody knows, it is noted here, animals can be sold via the shop menu at Sweetwater Farm. So stop trying to put your animals into a shipping bin to be shipped out like it's a piece of mail. They're animals. They're living. In additional notes at the very end, we are working to fix an issue with Steam's cloud save feature that is causing invalid saves. If you get an invalid save pop-up when trying to load the game, they recommend turning off cloud saves and playing the game on the previous device it was saved on until they are able to fix that issue. And then it ends up with they're continuing to work on additional bugs that have been reported and welcome you to report any that you encounter via their bug report with a hyperlink at the here. And thank you so much. So all in all, it's a pretty good bug patch and first fix patch notes. So honestly, none of the things that they fixed was things that I had noticed or anything like that as being needed, but honestly with where I'm at in the game too, I like it just as is so far. So it's not, you know, c'est la vie. I mean, if this is what y'all wanted fixed and implemented, that's great. But for me, like where it's at right now, it's well enough. But maybe one day I'll look back and just be like, dang, they were right. This was great. I'm glad these changes were implemented. But for now, nah, not so much. It's there. It's there. But, and in case any of you didn't know, recently, 3 days ago, the game has reached 100,000 downloads. So congratulations to everybody. Just 1 week of early access and it has 100,000 downloads for this game. So keep it up. And maybe one day they will give us some kind of platform other than just X or Twitter to be able to submit and talk with the developers for this game, because that's a lot of people for it for 1 week early access. Stay classy, stay snazzy, and hope you enjoy playing Fields of Mistria. Let me know what your favorite part of the whole thing and patch notes is by commenting below, and if you don't feel like doing that, that's no worries, because I also feel like not talking sometimes. I get it.